I made my first sale with 187 subs. I made $544 with one video. I signed a client with one video. It's like, I got 9 sales with 800 subs in 65 days. Like, these are things that you can do too. And
Mhm.
if you're not using YouTube, if you're not leveraging long form, you're missing out on money. And this thing is not that
Yes.
hard. You need three things. You need a transformation, you need a product that's going to sell that transformation, and you
Mhm.
need content that markets that product. That's it. You need
Yes,
content that
traffic.
builds your
Yep.
authority and builds your personality as well. Yo, can we get a drum roll for the goat, not just Sam? What's poppin',
Oh
gang?
my gosh, it looks so peaceful, like the sun
Um,
is shining where you're at, it's
we
just
out here
good
vibing.
vibes.
We out here vibing. I love your hair, Nigel. It looks so good.
Thank you. I'm
Good.
I had to download my higher self was like, I need you to start dressing like me. So I'm like trying to embody her. I'm like, what does she wear? What's her hair like? So I'm
Let's,
just like, okay, activate it.
let's do it.
Brings it
I love
out.
it. For sure, for sure. I definitely feel that.
Yeah, it's so good to talk to you,
I
Jaden. I
know,
feel
right?
like people like
Thanks,
don't
bro.
even know. We got to give them a background of like I'll tell them how I found you and
Let's do it. Yeah,
everything.
let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I got inspired by Jaden because I saw him posting every day on YouTube and making content about his journey, posting every day on YouTube. And I'm like, what is this about? So I started watching his videos, very like magnetic personality, and I love how fun you made posting and showing up every day. Like it's just light, it's just easy, it's just what we do. And at the
Absolutely.
time I was like really struggling with my content. Like I had been posting and making videos for years, but just like falling out of sync with my creations. And then when you started talking about monetizing, I'm like, hold up. Jaden said he was able to make what? Over 1,000 something dollars in just how many days of posting? 60 days? What?
That was how many? Yeah, it was about, yeah, it was 60 days. 58 actually.
Listen. And so I was like, I need to talk to Jaden. I need to see what he's doing. Jaden gave me some really good strategy and it just completely ignited, like the creation, product creation, all that stuff. So Jaden's the GOAT.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Yeah, let me tell you guys about how Nigel's the goat. So, I was back early. I don't remember if this is maybe around late. This is around mid July actually. Yeah, it was mid July.
Mhm.
So towards the beginning of July, I started offering like free coaching calls, so I could start understanding my people better, see like what my market was like struggling with in terms of like monetizing or like mindset stuff like that. And
Mhm.
so I'd had a call on July 15th with Nigel. I think it was around for like 2 p.m. or something.
Mhm.
And earlier that day, one of my clients at the time named Ali, so she's like a manifestation and visualization coach. And um, my wife now, client then, Erin, was also like interested in like doing this visualization with Ali and I. So we like did like a group meditation and visualization together. I think it was 10 a.m. on July 15th, that Monday. And um, yeah, like during the visualization, I was kind of like thinking about what my dream lifestyle in New York City would look like. I want to move to New York City, and like just kind of being in that energy, seeing that, feeling that energy. And while I was in the visualization, I kind of got hit with this almost just like knowing that like I was gonna be with my dream partner in New York City, and it was a very like feel like a very connecting moment for me where I felt like very tapped into her field and her energy. And it was very interesting. And I kind of like glanced over it a bit in the meditation, but afterwards I was reflecting on it and I was like, wow, I think she's very close, right? And so that was kind of floating around in my head. And so it's maybe around 1:30 or so. And I was checking out like the information Naja had sent me. And so um, she sent me like the information for her YouTube channel so I could like check it out and like just give her any advice. So I checked out her channel and I don't know if it was the most recent video you posted or like one of the few, but it was titled How I Manifest My Dream Person. And I was like, this feels quite aligned. The collective obviously is calling out for me. So I watched that video I think I only had like I had to watch the video on like 1.5 times speed because I was doing it like right before I fell. It was pretty funny. But I'm going through it and I'm like, oh, this resonates so much. And I get to the end and it's probably like not even 2 minutes before the call, but I wanted to just like start writing the entry,
Mm, yeah.
start like getting into the groove. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna commit to doing this whenever I feel called to. Because I just felt in that energy of manifesting my person.
Mhm.
And I kid you not, I did one every single day. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and that Friday, I think that was either the last day I written one or I didn't write one that day. But that Friday, Aaron and I actually decided to become business partners. And I think I stopped writing them after that day because collectively we were already in the union. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
spiritually. Now, I didn't understand that yet. I was still in
mm,
my, women are a distraction mindset because they are most
mm.
of the time. But
It's true.
I'm in the mindset. I'm like, okay, yeah, my girl's in New York City, so what am I doing? Like fucking around right now? Like I currently live in Georgia, so it doesn't make sense
Mm,
to like start doing something that isn't gonna last until there. And I'm not about long distance or none of that. You know what I mean, like
mm,
I gotta be seeing my girl. I gotta be touching up on her. I gotta be. All that. You know what I mean? And
mm.
so yeah, like my partnership with Aaron started that day, and like the next Tuesday, so that was that Friday that Aaron and I decided to become business partners. On Tuesday, we decided that we were gonna be together. We got engaged on that Friday, the next Friday, and then on August 8th, we got married. So from July
Wow.
15th, which was the day I started manifesting her, to August 8th, that was 24 days. So I like to say I manifested like
Wow.
4 days, all because of Nigel
That's
sitting here.
crazy.
No, right?
No, but I always tell you this too, Jaden. I'm like, you guys were already calling out to each other. I feel like the Dear Lovers was just strengthening that, that calling that was already cyclically happening between you two. Because Erin even says, she was doing her own work. She was doing her own like fasting and
Yeah.
preparing on her end, and you're
Mhm.
preparing on your end. And that just like goes to when you guys are in sync and in alignment, not just your story but also people manifesting things. Like when you get in alignment, you cannot miss what is for you. So
Yeah.
I love it.
So beautiful.
Wow. So I feel as if Jaden, you have lots of strategy. You're really good at like synthesizing information. You really helped me look at what I was doing, what I was creating. So tell me about like how can we find purpose or find passion in our creations? Because you constantly are showing up on a daily basis. How do you not get burnt out? How did you find your passion to keep creating?
Well, I will say that I've kind of been lacking for the past 2 weeks. I actually decided to kind of like take a step back and like see how how much I actually wanted to show up every day in terms of like posting content. I've actually like I've taken a back foot on posting every day from YouTube. I'm still trying to figure out if that's what I want to do, but I have been. I've actually started my Twitter journey recently, so I am like posting on Twitter every day now, and I'm like getting super consistent with writing my newsletter. But honestly, it's interesting. Aaron and I were actually like Aaron's kind of been in a rut for like a week, and we were talking this morning, and she was talking about how like she kind of like has been using like sleeping like in to like kind of like cope and like not want to actually like get up and like start getting after the day basically. And
Mm.
the first thing that's like popping into my head is like honestly, you don't need to like instead of trying to find something that's gonna make you like not cope and like want to get out of bed,
Yeah,
find
there's
something
Aaron right
that
there.
absolutely like burns you to like be awake and like alive for the day. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
What's popping, Lava Mama? But we're talking about you. I'm not gonna lie. Uh,
Yes, you've been
but
summoned.
but yeah, it's like for me, I've honestly kind of been a bit off course in terms of like having clarity on my direction in business, which is why I feel like I like hit that point of like inconsistency and like not really sure what I was trying to do. I didn't like
Mm,
really have all that desire when I woke up first thing in the morning. But like today when I woke up, I think I woke up around like 6:30. I was thinking about going back to sleep and like staying in bed. And like 10, 20 minutes later, I'm like coping, like not sleeping because like my mind is like, yo, you got work to do. You got work to do. You got work to do. And it's like
yeah.
it's not even that I feel like I'm obligated to do this work. I really want to do it. And of course I
Mm,
do have that sense of obligation as well because this is my livelihood. I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this for my wife, but it's like I want to do these things that feel good to me. You know what I mean? And
mm,
I wrote this newsletter the other, maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and it was talking about how important being in the flow state is, and like really creating your business and like the work you do every day around like the things that really get you most into the flow state. And for me,
yeah.
like the things that like get me best into the flow state is when I'm like very in tune and like actively listening. So that's either like a one-on-one conversation or like talking to somebody, or even when I'm like consuming content. I've always been more of like an audible learner than like a visual person. Reading and like books are something I'm honestly trying to like get better at, and like
Mm,
kind of like have to discipline myself to like pick up a book and read it. But when it comes to like listening to something or like being on a walk and listening to like an audiobook or a podcast, like I'll do that all the time. And that since that works for me, that's something that I leverage more because it's easy, right? It's like why
mm.
do the thing that's harder when you can do the thing that's easier and still get the same result? That doesn't make any sense.
Yes. And
And
I feel
so
like, oh,
yeah,
yeah.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that also is a mindset shift when you step onto this new timeline or this new frequency of creators. I know you always talk about like Renaissance creators, the new age, the new era of creation. It's like our work, how we work, looks different than how the day to day person works. Their mindset is in 9 to 5. I wake up, I go expend my energy with somebody else. When you wake up to this awareness that I am the creator of my own abundance, you learn how to wield your energy. Now you wake up at 6:30 and you're like, I want to show up. This is like my purpose, my passion. It fuels you getting the stuff done. So like yeah, sometimes you wake up and you don't want to be in your business or you don't want to like put out the content. But it's like something bigger than you pulling you and driving you to do it. The people who you know you're going to be helping and touching, you're like, "Oh my god, I got to stay on my grind because they're waiting. Their transformation is on the other side of me showing up." So again, not to make our heads all big, but I totally feel that.
No, that's super real. Like I didn't post any content yesterday, and at the end of the night, Erin and I were on the phone, and she was like, "Man, no JC Dubs on my YouTube feed today." She's like, I was like sad to not see you pop up, and it was honestly like it was a very heartfelt moment for me,
Mm,
because obviously like Erin is gonna say that Erin's been a big fan of my content, and she's my wife,
mhm,
so obviously she's gonna support me. But I
mhm.
also have I have loyal fans that like comment on a bunch of my videos, tell me that, yo, keep going, Jay, like your content's super impactful. Like I have
Right.
people who really watch my videos consistently, and I'm like, damn, I know like not seeing me pop up on your feed actually like affects a handful of people. And to know I have
Mm,
that kind of impact is pretty mind blowing, honestly, because like so like I've gotten super into numerology, and
mm,
I realized that I'm in one that my life expression is 5, which is about
mhm.
change and freedom. But I'm also in a personal year 5 right now, and it's just been super crazy to like see like how much my life has changed, how many like shifts and like pivots I've had to gone through based on like realigning, recalibrating with my authenticity,
Mm,
and like really understanding what freedom looks like to me. And I when I was writing like a few newsletters about numerology this past week, and I was talking about the energy of the 5, like I was talking about how at the beginning of this year, if you would have told me like I was gonna be married by the end of the year, I'm like I would have looked at you like you were a nut job, like seriously.
wow.
But it's pretty crazy to how like just from April of this year to August, like just those 4 months, how much my life completely changed. And
Mm,
it's like I've amassed an audience of over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I've
mm,
like served clients who like have like told me how much like my mindsets, the things I've helped them with, have like really impacted them. I've manifested my dream partner off of a fucking app, an app I love, by the way. It's like that's pretty fucking nuts.
yeah. Yeah.
It speaks to how I like to say like your abundance is directly proportional to your authenticity. When
Mm,
you're just living in alignment with how you were truly created, and you're not worrying about the programming that people have put on you, you're not worried about none of that bullshit. Like when you're just truly stepping in alignment, living in your purpose, like the abundance has no choice but to manifest in your reality.
yeah, and and it flows through the exchange of value. So all you have to do is focus on your input, inputting value, sharing value, and then abundance is the natural corresponding effect.
Absolutely.
Um, and I see the question. It goes back to like the 3D world, or maybe your family, your friends seeing what you do for work and not really considering it to really be work, or not really seeing the vision of what you're trying to create. And I do want to speak to that because I feel like we all experience that as creators and as creatives. Like, absolutely 1000%. We live on earth. You need resources, you need money. I know we enter the spiritual community, we are like, money's not real. You don't need money. I hate money. It's like, no, when you come awake
Uh,
to
like
energy,
lit, bro.
like you create money with your energy. And so I feel like the way that you separate yourself from, oh, my mom doesn't think that me making videos on YouTube is going to get me anywhere, she wants me to be a doctor instead. You really have to, one, know who you are, know thyself, and that awakens that remembrance that I'm allowed to choose what I do here. I'm allowed to choose, I'm allowed to decide. It doesn't, letting other people decide takes you off of your timeline. So you must decide what you're going to do. You must decide what you're going to create. You must decide, you can't allow other people, family, friends, partner, to sway what you're going to do, what you're going to create, how you're going to show up. And so I love, Jaden, that you always talk about, Aaron saying, hey, I didn't see you on live today. Where are you at? Like, that's the type of partnership and motivation that helps you to show up.
Absolutely.
So just remembering that you can't let your family or friends hijack your timeline by letting them tell you what you're doing isn't purposeful. As long as you're offering value, you will see the return on your energy investment.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And I actually really want to like nail down on not letting people hijack your timeline because most
Mm.
people's timelines are hijacked. And that is like that is such a I've realized this recently, like especially in like finding out that like my life expression number is through 5, and like what that really means is like understanding what freedom looks like to me and bringing that to other people. Like
Mm.
I I'm like absolutely sickened by how inauthentic most people live. It like
Ooh.
it really disgusts me, and more than that, it just hurts me honestly because
Talk about
because
it.
oh my gosh, like living behind a fucking mask is a plague. You know what I mean? Like so many people are just living inauthentically. Like I wrote a newsletter
Mm,
when I talked about how your abundance is directly proportional to your authenticity. And in that
mhm,
I said the mask you're wearing is currently making more headway in life than your true self is. Think about it.
mm,
That's fucking insane. That
mm,
programming that has been put onto you by your parents or by society, by the system, by your friends, right? Through influencers, whatever it is. Programming
yeah.
not aligned with your true self is literally allowing, like, it's making more progress than what you actually want in your life. It's actualizing and manifesting other people's dreams, right? Like,
Listen.
Daniel, one of my favorite entrepreneurs, he likes to say, everyone is working in alignment with a goal or a vision. But did you choose that vision? Is it yours? Is that
Mm,
your goal? Is that your vision? Honestly, it's probably not. And
mm,
because you're doing that, because you're living that way in alignment with a vision that isn't yours, then you're going to be taking actions in alignment with something that you don't actually want to manifest. And so
mm,
you're creating a reality that isn't actually true to you. And so, of course, when you're vibrating in authenticity, your reality is reflecting lies. Like, I love to talk about this as well. Abundance is the nature of reality, right? Lack and scarcity is the only thing that actually don't exist. And so if you're vibrating off a lie, right, by not being aligned with your authentic true nature, right, and our inner reality creates our external reality. If
mm.
what's in here is a lie, what's out here is also a lie. And so when
That's
you're
why they
living
call it the.
authentically, it can
Mhm.
only you can only see lack and scarcity in your reality.
Yes, and that is the matrix. That is the simulation. the projection of what you see that is inauthentic is the simulation. And I love what you just said, Jaden. And something that I tell my clients is like the first step is crystal ball clarity, having clarity about what you want, what you desire, because without that, that's ground zero. Without that, you're going to be building a false tower, building on false foundation, thinking that you're progressing in your career, becoming a big shot, and that's not even what you want. And so, like, the first step, we do this volley between masculine and feminine energy. The first step is the feminine energy of the vision. How does it feel? How do you want to feel? How do you even know what to create if you don't tap into yourself, and know what it is that you desire, and then start building from there? I love
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah, that's so real.
Mm.
And the thing is, you might not actually be sure of exactly where you want to go. But I like to kind of give these like 4 or 5 steps to my clients or like on my channel when I talk about purpose or vision. And there's a few things that you can like answer that will start getting you somewhat, like a clear idea. It'll start getting you an idea of where to move, even if it's not, like a perfect clear vision. That's fine.
Mhm.
Having anything that you can start working towards is always going to be better because actions recalibrate us. Like I like to say, actions
Mhm.
recalibrate us, thoughts don't. You can sit here and
Mhm.
think all the fucking time. You can do whatever the fuck here you
Yes.
want. None of that actually makes you any progress, right? Because
Yes.
you don't know until you've experienced it. So you need
Yep.
experiences. You only get experiences through actions, right? And
Yep.
so what you want to do is you want to ask yourself a few questions. Ask yourself, one, what do I want to see in the world? Like, what change do I want to see in the world? What is in the world
Mhm.
right now that doesn't currently resonate with me that I want more people to like be with, right? And so, like, for me, that is, I
Mhm.
want more people to be in alignment with spirituality. I want more people to understand oneness and love and unity. And I want people to be in alignment with that because that creates peace and joy and a sense of serving the collective, right? I also want people to be more in business. I love business. I think business is one, the funnest game to play, and you can also get freedom by playing this game. That sounds pretty lit,
Yes.
right? And so I love spirituality. I love business. I want to help people do these things. I want more entrepreneurs to be spiritual. I want more spiritual people to be entrepreneurs. That's what I'm about.
Right.
So that's the change I want to see in the world. Okay. Second, you want to ask yourself is what skills do I have? What am I good at? And this kind of goes into what we were talking about earlier about flow state. What are these things that you're naturally inclined towards? I'm naturally a speaker. I'm very charismatic. I connect with people. I'm very empathetic. This is something that is just kind of naturally how I am, right? And although I've gotten a lot of reps, I've made tons of YouTube videos, 400 plus YouTube videos in my life. This is something that I can do pretty well, but naturally
Mhm.
I kind of started there and I had that advantage. Look to where you already have an advantage. You aren't going to
Yes.
have all of the skills that you need to actualize the thing you want, but if you're living in alignment with what you love and especially what you're good at, then you're going to be willing to like not be great at something at the beginning because you know that it takes time, it takes repetitions to build that skill. So, what are you good at? And especially, what do you love? Both of those are very important. Now, these
Mhm.
two are also just as critical, in my opinion. What challenges have you overcome, right? What things have you actually faced in your life? What
Yep.
struggles have like really impacted you that you made like progress in? And for me, a
Yep.
big part of that was mental health and especially like spiritual health. I like to say that you can't have bad mental health if you have good spiritual health. And it's
Mm.
because in my like, you know, we are body, mind, and spirit, right? If spirit is our true nature and body is like, for the physical manifestation, the mind is the link between the physical and the spiritual, right?
Yep.
So if spirit is like the true nature of everything, then everything stems from spirit, right? Your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, all of these actually stem from your spiritual health. And so when you have good spiritual health, which I like to define as how in alignment you are living with the law of one, the law of love, oneness,
Mm.
do no harm, you know what I mean? Those kinds of things, the golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated. How alignment or how in aligned you're living to that law, that is how good or bad your spiritual health is, right? How positively or negatively polarized you are. We can talk more about that later. But I made a lot of progress in my journey when I actually like finally found like my spirituality And that was like the biggest thing that helped me like unfuck my mental health, to be honest.
Yeah.
Spirituality, purpose, and serving people. That's what got me the biggest thing. So I like to talk about spiritual concepts. I like to talk about how purpose and serving others will bring you that fulfillment. I like to talk about mindset and stuff like that because that really helped me out. I that's like something I made progress in, right? Another aspect of my business is now like helping people with client acquisition through YouTube. I got
Mhm.
my first 3 clients off YouTube with 300 subscribers after, about 35-ish days of like daily uploads. So I feel like I have skills that people are interested in. And obviously I've monetized those skills. So people were interested in. I even helped
Yeah.
them make money online with those skills. So it's like,
Yeah.
I know that, what I have to offer is something that's good. And it's something I struggled with as well. Like I tried to
Yeah.
business and hit my face over and over and over again from December
Mhm.
to May, right? December last year to May of this year. That's what, 6.5 months of like falling flat on
Yeah.
my face over and over and over again. And then I found
Yeah.
something that worked. And I was like, okay, I can do that.
I, and I would love to, because I want this to be helpful to other people. Just how you mentioned that knowing your gifts, knowing your skill set, and packaging it. So that's something right now I'm teaching the ladies in our course Drip. So I want to like riff on that a little bit because
Yeah,
that's
let's do it.
helpful. You help me to get clear on the fact that we have to have an offer to make and it helps you to show up online even more. And so when I was watching you and studying how you're creating content around your offer. And so something that I had learned and that I'm like teaching the girls now is you want to know what problem that you solve, right? We're not creating content just because like, "Ooh, look at me. This is so fun. Watch my videos. I'm so cute." It's like you can make money through posting by getting clear on the problem that you solve. And then every post is addressing the problem, addressing the problem, addressing a problem, getting people comfortable with you, warm with you, know, liking, trusting you, and ready to invest in your solution.
Mhm.
And so I love that learning how to package your gifts, your skills, and then adding that together with the problem that you want to solve and then deciding how you want to deliver that to your audience. That is how you make money online through using your content, through posting videos.
Bro, you literally, I was actually thinking about it was pretty funny. I was thinking about this like when I like first got started on my YouTube journey. I was like,
Mhm.
I wonder if I should only use my phone and I could like position myself as like you only need a phone to make money online. And I was thinking about
Yeah.
that. And I didn't do that. I use a laptop to work, but that
Yeah.
is really an option. Like you can really make money on
Listen.
the internet. You can make Wi-Fi money. First of all, just think about that. Wi-Fi money. That's fucking crazy.
Yes.
You
And that
can make Wi-Fi
describes
money with
what
just a phone.
money is. Yes, that describes what money is. Money is turning energy, thoughts and ideas into physical things, products, services or digital product and services and then selling it. You're exchanging energy and for energy, value for value. Your value, your knowledge, your education, your mind, packaging it, delivering it, and they're giving you value. They're like, that thing that you're giving me is more valuable than the money in my bank account. Please take my money. I want the transformation.
Absolutely.
Making money with your mind, printing money with your mind, guys. This is what we're talking about. It's
For sure.
literally
And
crazy.
it's really not that difficult, guys. Like this morning I was actually like I've started basically, oh my gosh, words aren't working right now. For people that want to work with me now, I've decided to like start having like an application, right? So
Yes.
if that's you, you can, look at my description and click on that top link. But while I was like doing the application today, like for like the first like, like part of it, like the copy to like, actually get you starting to like fill it out. I basically was talking about how, I made my first sale with 187 subs. I made $544 with one video. I signed a client with one video. It's like, I got 9 sales with 800 subs in 65 days. Like these are things that you can do too. And
Mhm.
if you're not using YouTube, if you're not leveraging long form, you're missing out on money. And this thing is not that
Yes.
hard. You need 3 things. You need a transformation, you need a product that's going to sell that transformation, and you need
Mhm.
content that markets that product. That's it. You need
Yes.
content that
Traffic.
builds your
Yep.
authority and build your personality as well.
Mhm.
Like as I told you, I'm getting into Twitter now, and I was kind of making a post about how you need authority and personality to actually like really sell yourself online, because just as much as showing your competence is great and people will want to pay for your value, none of that actually matters if they don't like you as a person. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
so relatability is really the first step to like actually getting people to want to work with you, especially if you're in the coaching business,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, people are buying you. People are buying your lifestyle, your transformation. They're buying
Yeah.
the specific knowledge and nuances that you've acquired throughout your journey to be able to apply to them and help them with their life. And so
Right.
if people don't get behind you, your story, your personality, if they don't actually resonate with what makes you you and what makes them them, if that isn't in like the same vibration, then they're not going to
Mhm.
want to work with you. And so if you're showing up and you're not giving yourself as like a personality, if you're not, if you're funny and you like throwing one-liners in there, do it. If that's your
Yep.
energy, do it. Put yourself into your content, because
Yeah.
people want the person just as much as they want the value.
And that's really what we've got to call it. We've got to call it selling your energy. So I tell my clients, it's like you're literally just showing up to shine your light.
Mm,
We're catching bait by shining our light. We're turning on the camera, we're shining our light. Look at me, listen to the problem I can solve. Does that resonate with you? Let me take you on this journey. Let me take you on this transformation.
right.
You're getting paid to shine your light. Like, this is a time that's never happened before. You never could turn on your camera or take a picture of yourself, and people are like, oh my God, I'm so invested in this character. Please take my money. That's never
Right?
happened
Like what?
before.
It's still mind-boggling to me now. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So I love that. Selling your energy, knowing how to wield your energy, knowing how to turn your life force energy, your simple presence of breathing, and slapping a price tag on it. That's all it is.
That's it.
Beautiful.
Honestly, I actually do
Yeah.
want to talk about just as much as the outer work. The externals are important. The
Hmm.
inner work is more important. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I saw a post by Iman Gaji, and if you don't know who he is, he's a super successful YouTuber and entrepreneur. He's made millions. This guy's been in
Yeah.
business since he was like 16. I think Iman
Mhm.
23 or 24 now. Um,
Mhm.
and he's super successful, and he made a post saying your I think it's something like the constraint of your business is always going to be you, because
Mhm.
your business's success is related to your personal development.
Mhm.
And that's
Yep.
I love talking about this, because this is the ultimate truth of reality, the mirror
Mhm.
principle. Your internal state, your internal reality, your mindset, your thoughts, your emotional well-being, all of these things will create, they will reflect or mirror your external reality, or
Yeah.
rather, your external reality will reflect or mirror your internal state. So
Yeah.
if you want to manifest more abundance in your reality, if you want to call more things into your reality, if you want to call in more money, you actually have to be able to be the person that can do that. You must be an energy match to that, right? The law of
Yeah.
attraction, the exact same. The law of resonance. It's all the same shit. It's like you have to be the frequency to attract what you want. And if you're not that frequency right now, then you need to decide you want to be that frequency. And when life serves you lessons, you need to fucking learn them. You need to learn them. You need
Yeah.
to find them. You need to have those in your awareness, so you can bring them out of the shadow, bring them into the light, and fully integrate them into yourself. Right? Shadow work is really a big step to this, because most people's truest self, most authentic self, is just completely in the dark. But if that
Mhm.
authentic self is responsible for your abundance, how can you keep them in the dark if abundance is what you want? That doesn't make it.
Yeah.
You need to call in that shadow part of yourself that you're not accepting. You need to stop pushing these things away. You need to stop suppressing. Suppression only grows. You need to call these things in. You need to see them in the light, and it won't feel good. It'll probably feel like trash, honestly. But
Mhm.
that's how it goes. I mean, you need to be willing to be uncomfortable in the moment so you can be comfortable later.
Yes, and that's a huge word. Like, making money, entrepreneurship is really all spiritual. I was telling my clients today, like, your prices are energetic. Spirit or poverty is spiritual warfare. If you don't have any money in your bank account, you better believe some spiritual warfare is going on. Why? Because we live in an abundant universe. Like real food is free. Have you ever thought about that? Real food is
That's
free.
so true.
So
Wow,
everything that we need in life is given. So
always.
you're telling me that you have no money in your bank account. It is a result of how you feel about what you are worth, right? Those prices are energetic. When we have low priced offers, it's like, please just buy my thing, please just buy my thing. People can feel that. They can feel the desperation, they can feel the need, they can feel that it's just a sell and it's not from passion, it's not from wanting to encourage that transformation. So I love that inner work. We can see so much about what's going on internally with a person by the fruit of their creation, by how prosperous their brand is, by how prosperous their business is, by how they show up in their brand or their business. Right. I realized what I was inconsistent in my brand or in my business because I was an inconsistent person. How do I expect my business, my brand to blow up and be incredible and I won't even show up for myself? So if you're wondering why your business isn't getting off the ground, like how are you pouring into it? It's like going back into nurturing your creation, being the mother of your creation, right? And then like you have to implement that masculine father energy as well. What is the strategy we're using to bring the business or bring it together? So that inner work is essential. And through working in your business, in your brand, it brings up the inner work that you need to do. It brings up the insecurity. Am I posting because I want validation or am I posting because I really have something to say? Right? Am I posting this picture because I want some attention or is this really going to bring a transformation? So that's the inner work that you're forced to do to be in business. It's
Yeah,
like non-negotiable.
for real. Like I've recently been like seeing this for myself. I just watched a recent pod that Dan Coe did, and he was talking
Mhm.
about how business is like a great vehicle for spiritual growth. And I was like, honestly, in my opinion, it's probably the best vehicle for spiritual growth
Yep.
because what is more spiritual? What is more about, being a part of something bigger than you? What is more about oneness and service than literally creating the main thing that you fuel and fuels you as well, be around service and giving to other people, right? Like
Mm.
the thing itself, the business itself is spiritual, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how based in like the physical reality your business is, all of this shit is energy. You know what I mean? And until you actually are willing to like broaden your perspective and like really see how like energetic the game of business is, you're always going to keep hitting the same cap, the same constraint, because you don't understand
Mhm.
that you need to go internal, right? You need to look to the
Yeah.
spiritual. If there are things that are manifesting in your business like constraints, or you're not hitting the level that you want to be hitting, whatever it is, you need to understand that this is just a reflection of something inside of you that has not been seen yet, right?
Mhm.
Your constraints are because of your inconsistencies. Your constraints are because of your low self-worth. Your constraints are because you don't actually have clarity. Your constraints are because you
Mhm.
might not be giving enough value, right? It's like all of these things
Mhm.
are reflected in your business. And if you only look at the reflection, right, if you're too focused on like what's in the mirror instead of what's actually like here, you're gonna keep trying to distort the mirror to change the thing. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, let me do this action instead. Let me do this action instead. It's like you're focusing on all the wrong shit. You keep trying to
Yeah.
project onto the mirror instead of looking inside first, which is what the mirror
Yeah.
is reflecting.
And that's something that society kind of has brainwashed us to only look at the mirror or
Absolutely.
like to only be in the masculine energy of do, perform, 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 act. And it's like all the hustle in the world is not going to get you the result if you don't do the internal work. Like you'll just burn yourself out and still not have the result that you want. So it's less about the actions that you do. And just like you said, it's more about getting yourself internally calibrated so that you can receive the things that you're asking for. Feeling comfortable with what it is that you're asking for so it can come into your reality. Getting in that energetic alignment. So good.
Just like Lava Mama
Mm.
said, getting paid to be. Simple.
Yes.
Simple.
Your existence can pay you if you know how to wield your energy.
Absolutely.
And you make an offer. You have to make an offer. Whether the offer is, hey, join my email list, take this free book, join my email list, right? Or hey, buy this coach or coaching service, buy this course. You got to make an offer. That's how you exchange value for value. If you want money, you got to make an offer, offer value.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're kind of like, a person standing on the side of the road with a sign, spare change, spare change. People will give you money if they feel bad for you, but they would love to pay you if you offer some value.
Right. It's like if you actually like this is just the nature of the universe. Karma,
Mhm,
it's like giving and receiving are one. Every cause has an effect, every effect has a cause. And
mhm.
so it's like when you want to be the creator of your reality, most people, this is the problem. Everybody in victimhood, victim consciousness is only focused on the effect.
Yes.
Because this circumstance happened to me, I'm a victim, my life sucks, I am my trauma, these kinds of things. And I'm not here to like trauma shame or do any of that shit. I've been where you
Mhm.
are. I've been in victim consciousness. But what do you want to do? Feel sorry for yourself or be in a reality
Mhm.
that you don't hate? Like which one is it?
Right.
Like do you want to just keep feeling sorry for yourself? Because I'm pretty sure you've been doing that for years and nothing has changed.
And they feel sorry for themselves because they think that the outcome is just the way it's supposed to be. But the 3D world is lagging. The spiritual world happens first, and then the 3D reality is a manifestation of what we've been doing energetically. So what
Right.
you're physically experiencing is only a manifestation of what you've been practicing energetically or vibrationally. So
Mhm.
once it's like trying to cut down the tree from the branches. No, you need to cut at the root if you're trying to really cut it down. So getting to the bottom of it is getting in alignment energetically and then look and see what results you get. Stop looking at what is and start projecting into your future. No, this is what will be.
Yeah.
And then keep that vibration until that's what materializes.
Mhm. Yeah, like once you actually get to the cause and you start being the person who is creating the cause, I'm doing this thing to create this reality instead of this
Mhm.
reality is just happening to me and I'm just experiencing it. Like you can't do anything about
Right.
it. Oh, I'm just here experiencing this reality. I have no agency over my life. Well, then what the fuck are you
Mhm.
going to do? Right? But none of that is
Yeah.
true. You have complete agency over your reality. You know, I've been recently like here and there getting into a book called the Kybalion, and it's about the
Yeah.
seven hermetic principles and
Mhm.
about hermeticism. It's an amazing book, and in it, it talked about the mental universe and how this entire universe is that in God's mind, and how
Mhm.
God's mind and man's mind are very similar in nature, right? But there's an infinite variance in degree because God has an infinite mind and man has a finite mind. And how I like to interpret that is that man can create one reality, its own. You have the complete agency to create your one reality.
Yep.
But God can create infinite realities, and that's God's business. We're not worried about that. You can
Mhm.
create your reality. So take the agency that you have and create it, right? Change your
Right.
internal, raise your frequency, take action that's going to actually create the things that you want, and those things will manifest if you actually decide to be the cause instead of just choosing to be the effect. You have a choice. You have a choice.
Mhm.
What do you want to do?
And that like reminds me of that conversation of timeline jumping through your decisions. That's what makes you like God. The fact that you are the creator an orchestrator of your own reality. And how are you orchestrating your reality? Through your decisions, through your choices, through making moves, through the physical things that you do, and also through how you calibrate yourself internally. It's like we are this rocket ship maneuvering through Earth, like our vessel's the rocket ship, and we've got this human technology, right? Our human technology looks like our emotions, it looks like our actions, it looks like how we feel and like what we're choosing to do. Do we pick up the book or not pick up the book? Do we go on the internet or not go on the internet? Every action opens a timeline. Every action opens a portal. That's how we're creating our reality. So it's not a secret, it's not a mystery. You can be in victim consciousness or you can realize I am doing this. I'm creating this. And when you turn on that awareness and remembrance that I'm doing this, I'm creating this, this puts you in the driver's seat. Now you're the creator of your
Right?
reality.
Creator consciousness.
Yes. Yes. It's about that intentional creation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I think oh yeah, this is the one. Boom. I,
I am the creator.
bro, I have, this is my ninth pocket journal. I started getting
What?
these back in October last year, I
Uh,
think. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And
Talk,
I think at
yeah.
the fourth or fifth one, I started like writing messages on my like on the front that I want to like really download into my brain. And
Mm,
you just have to reinforce that you are the creator of your reality. It's
mm,
like no one else is. Like as much as other people like I like to call my no limit mindset. I like to encapsulate it as your only limitations are the ones you put on yourself, right?
yep.
And now there's kind of like a caveat asterisk to that, or to like, or at least the ones that you allow others to put onto you. You know what I mean? Because
Yep.
although you might not have put those programs onto yourself, you're still allowing them in your field, in your subconscious, right?
Yep.
It's so good. Peace out, lava mama. I'll see you later.
Aaron.
But yeah, it's like you have to see that you have a choice, you have a decision to make, right? And you can either make the choice of I'm the creator, I'm going to have agency in my life, or I'm a victim, life is just doing things to me. Because you can manifest anything you want in this reality, anything you want, right? Like there is literally zero limitation, because this entire universe is just mental, right? Like I said, it's God's mind. And so that must mean that there aren't actually physical things getting in your way. There are only mental things stopping you, right?
Yeah.
And so if the ability, like the universe is infinite in nature, it is always expanding. There's infinite possibilities. That means that there are infinite timelines that you can be a part of. There are infinite
Yep.
possibilities. There are infinite directions you can go into. And the only reason you believe you can, or the only reason that you aren't, is because you're not actually allowing yourself to be in those. You're not open to those perspectives, or you don't believe that you can be in those perspectives. And so you aren't, right? God will never try to impose its will on you. It's like, oh, you want to do that? Rock out. That's
Do
your,
it.
yeah, this is
Yep.
your experience.
And that's when they talk about the great divide, or the split that's happening. It's people who are coming awake to the fact that they're the creator of their reality, and then people who continue to choose to be oblivious or be like, oh no, the government will fix it, the president will fix it, something outside the church is going to fix it, Jesus is going to come and fix it. It's like, no, you have to remember who you are. This is your authority while you're here. This is how you're creating your reality.
Absolutely. I'm just gonna say real quick, we can go into like a whole rabbit hole about Jesus, but yeah, I like Doe. I don't know if you've checked that book out. That was talking about like how the concept of like us being in God's mind is so good.
Mm,
I got that from the Kabbalion. Like the chapter "The Mental Universe," where I was talking about how man's man's mind and God's mind are very similar, but man's is
mm,
finite, right? Man's mind and God's mind are extremely similar in like how they operate. It's just that
mm,
the nature of them, right? What they can actually do is just infinitely different, because man only
mhm.
has the power to create one reality, and God has the power to create infinite realities. That's the only
Right.
difference, right? The only difference between us, us as the creator and God as the great creator, is just how varying the power and like the vastness of our
The
like.
consciousness, the
But it doesn't
awareness.
mean that it's like it's. Let me try to figure out a good way to say this. So you have the ability for infinite possibilities in your one reality. That is what your
Yeah.
mind is capable of. God's mind is capable of having infinite possibilities and infinite realities, which is pretty
Yeah.
absurd. But we don't need to worry about all that. We're not worried about it.
Right.
We're worried about the reality we're in, right? And
Right.
so when you see that, okay, my mind creates my reality, that must mean that every single thing that I program into my mind can manifest in my physical reality. That must mean that every single thing that I'm not aware that is in my mind is manifesting in my physical reality, right?
Mhm.
Everything in your subconscious is shown in this reality. right? The first week that Aaron and I got married, let me tell you, we were going like this, like back and forth, like triggering each other and being like, "Oh yeah, I love you." And it was just like, it was pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
And oh shit, I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon, Naja.
Okay.
These long guys are here to like
Okay.
clean up the park. But
Yeah.
yeah, we were like super triggering each other, like going back and forth where like I'd said things where like she had felt judged and she had said things that I felt judged. And it was just such a clear like depiction of one, how your partner is just the perfect reflection of you, and how if something is triggering you or something is triggering your partner, it is because that thing is inside of you, right?
Yeah.
Like I love to give this example. If someone was to call me stupid right now, I'd be like, that's your business.
Right.
I have
Exactly.
I hold zero, like there is no charge to someone calling me stupid, positive
Yep.
or negative charge, because it's just not true. It doesn't manifest.
Hmm.
It's not
Yep.
real. I don't actually hold any of that belief, and so how could it how could that affect me? Right? It can't.
Hmm.
But if
Yep.
someone had this belief of I'm stupid, I'm unworthy, I'm not good enough, if they're actually holding these things in their conscious or their subconscious, if someone calls you stupid, you're gonna get triggered. You're gonna get defensive. You're gonna say, "No, you're stupid. Fuck you. You're a piece
Yep.
of shit." Whatever it is. But
Hmm.
you only feel judgment from others because you are
When you judge
internally judging
yourself.
yourself. That's the
Yep.
only reason. It's the only reason. And so like
Yep.
every time you know, something is like going on in Aaron and Zyra's relationship, or like in my business, I'm like, how am I creating this? Like, how am
Yep.
I creating this reality I'm experiencing right now? And that is the biggest question that has helped me over the past like month or so. It's like, what am I holding internally? What am I judging? What am I like? What have I not fully accepted? What is not in my awareness to where I'm manifesting this current reality I'm experiencing? And once you
Hmm.
can see that, and once you can like get the awareness, oh okay, I'm actually still holding on to this like this bit of judgment for myself, this feeling of unworthiness, or I'm attaching my worth to externals, or I'm still holding some judgment. I'm still seeing separation or perceiving separation somehow. You can start asking yourself. You start looking at the mirror and you see the distortions in the mirror, and that
Hmm.
allows you to look internally, right? Instead of trying to see the mirror and change around the mirror, you see where the distortions are in the mirror and you're like, okay, what's inside of me that needs to be changed so the mirror can get clearer.
Yep. And it also it just makes me think about like when you're it goes back to when Lava Mama was like, my family's triggering me. I'm trying to be in this industry. I'm trying to do this thing. It's like, okay, well, then where in my energy am I telling myself that this isn't legitimate, that this can't sustain me, that this isn't going to work? Where am I telling that to myself? Because that must be the energy that I'm radiating. Therefore, my family is concerned for me because I am not radiating in my absolute, no, I'm doing this, no, this is going to work, no, this is fruitful, no, you're going to see me succeed, right? It goes like when people are trying to show up on their social medias, and they're getting comments saying, oh, you did this, you talk too much, you're so loud, like why are you, you know if it bothers you, if you feel the need to go back and like attack them, like, ooh, hit dogs holler, right? Like they hit a nerve, they struck a nerve, something that they said is valid in you,
Absolutely.
or else you wouldn't feel the need to attack.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of hmm, I'm trying to figure out because there was a point in my journey where this was like manifesting in my reality. Let me say this. I'm not sure if this is like if I'm gonna hit exactly on what I'm trying to get at, but this is gonna be a good example regardless.
Mhm.
So when I really started getting like making like more spirituality content, I started having people and I was making content about like why I left Christianity as well, and like
Mhm.
um things like this, and I had people like coming to me and like wanting to like talk about stuff, and I was kind of in this mindset of I don't want people to like bring down my energy. Like I don't want people getting into my field, and that like
Yes, I
lowers
know
my.
that feeling.
And
Yep.
so I like turned my comments off for a while. It was maybe like a
Mhm.
week. It wasn't more than 2 weeks, but I kind of like on a walk. I realized that more than like I kind of gotten to the point where I was like, no, I'm actually so convicted in like where I'm at right now that I only have light to penetrate these other people's fields. You know what I mean?
Mm,
It's like
mm,
what their energy actually can't affect me because
mm.
I'm so like convicted and like found in my light. You know what I mean? Can you hear
Yeah.
that?
It's like low, but I hear it.
Okay. All right, we'll have to wrap up soon.
That's
But
okay.
um, yeah, I got. Actually, you know what? We can like move to the pool real quick. Let's do that.
Okay.
Uh, huh,
Field
huh.
trip.
Going. We're going.
I love that.
Let me put my
But
bag on.
yeah, while you're relocating, I'll just say this. That exact same thing showed up for me, not with the comments, but like I was in a relationship with a guy and I always got triggered because I felt like his family was judging me, right? Like, why does Nija stay at home all day? She just makes videos. What is she doing? Like, I hope she doesn't expect you to X, Y, and Z for her. Like, what is she doing? Right. And that was a projection of how I felt on the inside. I
Mm,
was like, dang, like, what am I doing? Is posting videos even really doing anything? Like, I felt so judged by my partner's parents. But then in hindsight, I'm like, they're not judging me. I'm judging me. And I'm projecting that blame, saying that they're judging me. But really, it's me not being absolute in my creation, me not having security and like confidence in what I'm creating. So that was a huge shift.
yeah, yeah, 100%. Like that is so. That's so big. Um, I like to talk a lot about um, like having like blocks on your creativity, and
Mm,
like honestly, the main like culprit of a block I like to say is an attack on your authenticity. And
mm,
what that basically can it can look like, it can come to you in a few different forms, whether that's trauma or programming that who you really are isn't actually good enough. Um, it can be, I mean, there's so many ways that trauma and that kind of programming can really manifest. I don't have to go into like too many like specific examples, but
mhm.
regardless, if you don't feel comfortable being your true self, if you have walls up, if you're not willing to be vulnerable, any of these things will be blocks on your creativity. Why is that? Well, the thing is, creation, any type of creation, whether you're making art, you're making content, you're making value as an entrepreneur, it don't matter what you're making, right? All of these things are just expressions of the self, right?
Yes.
Just like, I mean, like, we are created in God's image, right? And so everything is a reflection of God. God is in everything, right? And just as we, like all of God's creations, God, we are all in God and God is in all of us, right? It is the same thing with anything that you create. That
Mhm,
creation came from you, but it's also like you are within it. And so
mhm.
everything you create is an expression of the self, right?
Yeah.
So if you are not comfortable expressing the self, how will you create? Like if
Mm,
you can't project who you truly are, if you can't put that out there, then you'll be blocked in terms of actually be able to manifesting those creations through
yeah.
whatever you're creating, because internally you won't want to put that outside, and so
Right.
this will be your blocks in your creativity. And that was something I faced a lot. um Honestly, probably from around like 10 years old up until just this last May, and like I got started with my daily uploads back in May 15th, and I went for about 100 days.
Mm,
Um, and I tried to, do I've been on like using this YouTube channel consistently since, well, consistently, but I tried to get consistent back in December, right? And I
mm,
had, like a three week stay in December. And then after that, I was just kind of up and down all over the place. I'd have like times where I'd post, maybe I did like every day for a week here and there, like stuff like that. But I got like,
mhm,
I was never able to keep it up because I had those blocks, right? I like to say that your internal anchors keep you from abundance. And so
mm,
I had to let these internal anchors go, right? And the biggest vehicle for that is forgiveness. You know what I mean? It's like you have to be willing to forgive the people that caused those blocks for you, right? The people that weren't embracing your true self, that made you feel like your true self wasn't worthy enough to be embraced. You have to forgive those people. You have to forgive yourself too for allowing yourself to deny yourself as well. It is just
mhm.
as important to realize that other people were denying your true self. It is just as important to realize that you've been denying your true self as well, right? So you
Yeah.
have to forgive others, you have to forgive yourself. And when you truly have acceptance and forgiveness, right, when you bring things into the light through awareness, when you see these things, you feel them, you accept them, right? That's like the masculine and the feminine, aspects of healing, right? Wisdom
Yeah.
and understanding is the masculine, and acceptance and embracing, embodying, that's the feminine. And when you can do both of these things, you can really become the creator of your reality. There's a book called
Mm-hmm.
The Law of One I'm like starting to get into, and I think it's the three disciplines of the personality. That's what Ra. He's like it's like the channeled being that it was like channeled by. And
Yeah.
Ra says there are three aspects of like becoming the creator of your reality. And it's know thyself, right, the
Mm-hmm.
masculine, love thyself, the feminine. And when you bring love and wisdom together, you can become the creator, right? Love and
Mm-hmm.
wisdom creates power. And so when you heal masculinely through knowing and through understanding, you heal in the feminine aspect through acceptance, through forgiving, through integration. You can actually truly have the agency and the power that is yours to create the
Mm-hmm.
reality that you want to create.
Yes. And this entire conversation just reminds me of that statement, creation is currency, right? Whatever you create, it's currency. You can use it to take yourself from one timeline to another. Creation is the answer to every single problem that could ever exist. So, your transformation's on the other side of creation. If you feel stuck in life, the answer is creation. The only thing that God is doing is creation. And so to be like God in your own reality, you must create. And the more you create, the more life can look like how you want it to look. And then that piece too about being accepting of your creation, no matter what you create, right? It's like, can you imagine a mother having a child and then being like, I hate this child. Why did I create this child? Why did I put this out into the earth? Why would I ever do, like that is essentially what we're doing when we second guess our creation, when we don't create authentically, when we let other people hijack our creations. When you let other people hijack your creations, you're letting people hijack your God force energy. And that's what's been happening in the Matrix. They're projecting these images on television, in the media, hijacking our creation ability. And so I love that, having unconditional love for your creation. As simple as like when you make the video, why would you sit there and hyper fixate on, oh, I didn't like my hair in that segment. Oh, I don't know if I hated my video quality. Yeah, always improve, but also stop demonizing your creations. The more accepting you can be of your creations, the more free flowing the creations get to be, right? So to like Erin's point, she said she's sad because she doesn't feel full in her creations. Just create full out. Whenever I like was growing up, I used to take dance lessons, and they would use the term full out. Like sometimes when we're dancing, we're just marking the moves, but then when it's time to really perform, you're like, okay, do this full out. That means put 100% of your energy in it. Do it like you're performing on show day. And so it's like when we take that idea of creating full out with our creations, we wake up in the morning and we're like, okay, what am I going to create today? How am I going to change my reality through my creations today? No matter what I create, I accept my creation. My video can't be shit because I created it. That means God created it. It's amazing. My product can't be shit because I created it. That means God created it. It's amazing. My friendships, my lifestyle, my relationships, my partnership, I fully, completely accept myself. My creations can't be shit because God created it. God's in me. So this is God's creation. How dare you talk about God's creation? Right? That's how you become accepting of your creations and create authentically without judgment.
Yeah, that's just so big, man. Like
Mm,
yeah, Aaron said unconditional love for your creation is huge, so beautiful. That is
mm,
actually that is everything right there, actually, because like when I was talking, earlier about like your shadow self. The thing is, all suffering comes from separation, right?
mhm,
The nature of reality is unity. It is oneness, right? It is full love and acceptance, and love is fully accepting. Love doesn't separate. Love holds space for, right? Love acknowledges and it forgives and it is understanding. And so, if you are pushing anything that you create, right, which is also one with you as everything else is, right? But especially something that you create that is supposed to be an expression of yourself. If you're pushing that away, saying this isn't good enough, it's trash, go away, that is literally putting a part of yourself into the shadow. That is
Yes.
unacceptance. That's creating separation. That is suffering, right? But once you actually see that what you create is beautiful, right? Like honestly, I had a big block with um, having like my sense of worth be attached to my externals and feeling validated, right? And that like really manifested in my reality because I used to be a great student growing up, like A's and B's, but I got A's in science and math because I'm a huge nerd and those are the classes I love. And I got B's
Yeah.
in French because I didn't give a fuck, right? And so, I would come home and I'd show my grandmother my report card and be like, "Oh, this is awesome, Jay. This is great, love, and here's some money so you can play video games. But you could invest." And every time I brought a report card, it was do better though, right? Could do better though, right? And it just started manifesting in my reality. And it's just like, okay, obviously what I do is not good enough. So what's the fucking point? And I just completely tied my worth to that external, right? And I had to go back and like really use this like masculine way of healing. And it's like, you know, if I am a manifestation of God, right? If I'm created in God's image and God is infinite love, how can I be anything less than infinite love? How can I be anything less? How could my worth not be infinite? It doesn't make sense, you know?
No.
I just felt this like overwhelming, like sense of like oneness and like love and like the security in my body because I understood like what my true nature really is, right? Your true nature has no bounds. It has no bounds. Your only bounds are the ones that you allow by staying in that box that you feel comfortable in.
Yep.
And once you get out of that box, once you really get familiar with the unknown, once you're willing to be in the mystery of the divine, like that is where your home truly is. And by like truly accepting that infinite oneness, infinite love, abundance, like this is my nature, and my nature has nothing to do with the actions that I've taken in the world. None of that happened. Like everything that you were came before your actions, right? Babies are the like closest like I was having a conversation with somebody who was looking to like work with me, and she was talking about how she felt like she was in a low frequency, right? And I was telling her how high frequency is our nature, right? And she had killed children. I'm like, I don't need to convince you of this. Look at your children. Children are always in high frequency. Why? They didn't have to learn that shit. That's our true nature. Our nature is high frequency. Our nature is oneness. It's divine. And we just stray away from this nature because of programming, because of ego, because of separation, right? Because of these things that we learn as, as a sense of separate self, as a divine expression. We have to see that although we are one and we are separate, there's no real separation, right? Although we are this, this beautiful and unique expression of the divine, right? That is unique and doesn't have another replication, right? That does not mean you are separate from the divine. You're not separate from source. You're not separate from anyone or anything. And when we try to create this separateness in our mind, then we project more suffering into our reality. And so you have to be willing to accept all parts of yourself. You have to be willing to accept and stop judging the parts of yourself that you've been pushing away. Accept the people that you've been pushing away. Accept the circumstances that you've been pushing away. Accept your creations. Accept your business. Accept your love life. The only way you can start making change is by accepting what truly is.
And I feel like that really brings the conversation full circle, right? The purpose, productivity, and then knowing how to use your creations, how to wield your creativity, how to wield your energy into your creations, and then having unconditional love for what is created. I love that. Well, Jaden, I've really enjoyed hanging out with you
So
today.
amazing.
We need to do this again.
Have to.
I love it. So many gems.
So yo, Naja, plug what you got. You want to tell them about your channel, your author?
Yeah, so guys, I'm Nisha Sim on YouTube. You guys can find me, follow me. I'm on Instagram as well. Right now, you guys can join Dream Life Academy. I am teaching weekly master classes. Right now, we're doing the Drip Masterclass. Is Dream Revenue is Possible? How to make money doing what you love. So this conversation was so good and juicy, and definitely dives in straight to that. So you guys definitely check that out. The links are on my channel. So find me on Nisha Sim on YouTube.
I'll definitely have Nigel's. I'll have Nigel's channel in the description. I'm gonna put DLA in the description too, Nigel. I got you.
Thank you.
Yeah, but if you guys are interested in using YouTube to monetize your business, Nigel can give me some social proof. I helped her with her business, but if
Yep.
that's something that you want to do, if you're a coach, if you're a mentor, a course creator, and you want to use YouTube to monetize, it doesn't matter how many subs you had. I got my first sale at 187 subs, right? All that matters is that you have a clear offer, a clear transformation that you want to bring people, and you just have to make content that tells people about you, tells people about your offer. If that's all you need, right? I'm gonna help you do that. If that's something you're interested in, click in that description and come apply to work with me. All right?
Yay. I love
Um,
it. Thank you, Jaden, for having me.
yeah, of course. We definitely got to do this again. Peace
All
out, guys.
right. Bye, guys.